Welcome back to Sissy Maya. Make sure to subscribe to our channel to never miss an update. Additionally, consider subscribing to my Patreon to get access to these features, and much more. Hey Ava and MIA. Ready for this? It's kind of long. MIA, could you print this and give a copy to Ava? I'm sure she'd like to keep it. My wife volunteered me for this, and I knew it would be interesting. In the military, I was volunteered for stuff all the time, so I figured it wouldn't be so bad. Our church ladies group had a ladies' night in tonight. One event was a makeover by the owner of the Superior School of Cosmetology. She thought it'd be fun to do a guy, and since I'm about the skinniest guy in church, heck, the whole county, she picked me. Is God smiling on me or what? Anyway, she asked my wife, why ask me? She figured, why not go right to the top? And my wife thought it'd be fun. Thanks, hun. Still waiting for the fun part to kick in. Here's a summary of today's and tonight's events. Riley, the owner of the beauty school, decided not to reveal to anyone at church who would be getting a makeover. She had me arrive at her school at 3:30 today. When I walked in, the girl at the front desk identified me as Cameron and said Riley was busy, instructing me to follow her. She led me to a room and asked me to take off my pants and put on a gown she provided. Feeling embarrassed, I asked why, and she explained that Riley wanted to start with a leg waxing. I tried to explain that I thought Riley planned to do that at the demonstration, but she informed me of a change of plans. Riley would only do the makeup and hair at the church. Reluctantly, I complied, already tallying up in my mind how much my wife owed me for this. Riley entered after I changed and had me lie down on the table, proceeding to apply wax to my legs, hands, and lower arms. Skipping ahead a bit, I'll spare you the details of the whimpering, yelping, and outright screaming that ensued. After she finally finished, it seemed like she must have recently been jilted or something. She seemed to relish inflicting pain on a man. It felt strange. My legs felt hypersensitive to the breeze, etc. But, considering all the hair had just been ripped from the skin, it's understandable they'd be a bit sensitive. Well, what's next? I wondered. I soon found out as we moved to another area of the school. Apparently, it was time for a manicure. Ava, can you believe all this? You know how good I am at saying no to people. I kept up that tradition today as I meekly took a seat in the chair. The girl said she had always wanted to do this and had even tried to convince her boyfriend, but he never agreed. At least I got to fulfill someone's fantasy. She mentioned that Riley had already selected the length and polish color for tonight, so I should just relax. Right. Relax. Do you ladies ever truly relax while getting your nails done? First, they use this machine to scrape your nails, then they put these things around your nails, fill them with this pungent acrylic substance, let it dry, and then resume scraping and grinding. It definitely made my hands look interesting, though. Once she smoothed them out, she began polishing. As she finished up, she pleaded with me to keep them. She offered free fill-ins for life, oh joy, and promised to polish them whenever I wanted. Though it sounded like too good a deal to be true, I politely declined, saying they were coming off tonight. She just smiled. Finally, Riley entered and apologized for being occupied, asking if her staff was looking after me. They sure were. She moved the robe aside, examined my legs, and remarked that ever since she saw me in shorts, she had wanted to see my legs like this. Apparently, I received quite a few compliments. She invited me to follow her into the salon area. I inquired about what else would be done at church, and she instructed me to sit down and find out. Tilting the back of the chair so my head rested in a sink, she announced it was time to tidy up my eyebrows. I made a jest about bathing earlier that day, to which she simply replied, "Nice try." Next, I endured another encounter with Mr. Wax, this time on my eyebrows. At this point, I'm not only thinking my wife owes me at least a new computer for all this, but I'm also contemplating what to volunteer her for. After more ripping sounds and quite a bit of plucking, I faced a slightly altered reflection in the mirror. My eyebrows, or what remained of them, appeared swollen and red. "Don't worry," she assured me, The swelling will go down by tonight. Well, that's reassuring. She suggested I take a break, maybe read a magazine. You can imagine the wide array of reading material available. I picked up a Cosmopolitan featuring Heather Locklear on the cover. As I flipped through it, a challenging task with claws suddenly adorning my fingertips, I realized the length some women go through to maintain their appearance and recognized that I now had a bit in common with them. I can anticipate what you're both thinking. It's about time a man understands the challenges of being a woman and what we endure, etc., etc. Perhaps so, perhaps so. Around 6 o'clock, she informed me it was time to change. I could tell from her smirk what that meant. As I followed her into the room, I spotted a dress hanging there. She explained that due to time constraints, she'd only have time for the makeup part of the makeover tonight. Since nobody knew who the guinea pig would be, she decided to keep it a secret from the other ladies. She showed me how to put on the hose, not an easy task with nails, and left while I struggled into them. Returning, she helped me into a bra, my first wonder bra, and padded it with some falsies. My 5-month-old son, who's breastfeeding, would probably adore me now. Then came the dress. After zipping it up, she had me turn around and shook her head. "Cameron, you should have been born a woman," she remarked. I think I blushed for only the second time in my life. We returned to the salon, and she began applying contouring and foundation to my face. Then she disappeared into another room and returned with a wig. After styling and spraying it, she stepped back, saying it was missing something. With a smile, she promised to be right back. Returning, she turned me away from the mirror and instructed me to hold still. Feeling something cold on my ear, I jerked away. I put my foot down, firmly stating there was no way she was going to pierce my ears, no matter how fast they grow back. I almost called off the whole thing and left, but catching sight of myself in the mirror, I didn't see a guy staring back at me. I realized I'd gone too far to turn back now. She returned with some clip-ons and other jewelry, announcing it was time to go. As she slipped some shoes onto my feet, I heard her say 1 second, "Cinderella. They fit." I asked her how she knew my dress and shoe size, especially since I don't have a dress size, and she mentioned my wife had measured some of my clothes. Isn't it nice to have a spouse that cares about the little things? Yeesh, I caught myself about to ask if you've ever walked in heels. I'll assume you both have. It was quite a new experience for me. Riley told me to stop complaining since they were only 1.5 inches. I retorted that was about 1.5 inches too much. After some pointers from her, I actually got the hang of it. Must be because I was born in California. We went to church and got everything set up. Well, they did. I'm afraid my nails made me kind of useless. I stayed in a back room while they got everything started. I was getting nervous, big surprise, as I was about to appear in front of the ladies of the church in a dress. The time came, and Riley led me to the chair, draped a smock around my front, didn't cover my legs, darn it, and they moved the divider in front of the chair. No one gasped or giggled, so I remained calm. Riley explained that her friend Cammie had graciously volunteered to be the guinea pig for the demonstration and informed them that the foundation had already been done, all that remained was the makeup. She began pulling out powders, pencils, and other items, all the while explaining to the ladies what she was doing. Since Cammie has thin lips, we'll use a lip liner pencil to redefine her lips. Then she'll have those sexy, kissable lips that drive guys wild, right Cammie? I just rolled my eyes and smiled. About 30 minutes later, she finished the makeup and adjusted my wig. Then she took out some perfume from her bag and spritzed a little on me. It smelled wonderful. I wished I could pronounce the name so I could get some for my wife. Removing the smock, she asked me to stand and turn for the audience. The ladies oohed and ahed and clapped. Honestly, the recognition felt good. Then it dawned on me I was standing there in a dress, makeup, etc., and no one knew it was me. Unfortunately, that didn't last long. Riley called for quiet and announced she had more to say. She spoke about how makeup has the power to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary, urging them to consider the difference between their morning appearance and their made-up selves. She discussed how self-image was tied to earthly concerns and presented God's different perspective. Then she revealed another surprise. You all know the incredible power of makeup and the wonderful illusion it creates, she began. I'm here tonight to tell you that it can sometimes be even more powerful than you realize. Cami, the stunning young woman you see before you, is a testament to that magic of illusion. Because Cami isn't truly beautiful, or young, or a woman. Finally, I got my gasp from the crowd. Cami, she continued, is actually Cameron. Silence. Then, Debbie, one of the younger members of our church, started giggling and clapping. Soon, the ladies were coming over to shake my hand and offer comments like "You look absolutely stunning, I wish I looked that good in a miniskirt, and feel free to join the ladies' Bible study if you'd like." I then sat down next to Riley and listened to the rest of the night's entertainment. Riley kept offering me tips on how to smooth my skirt and cross my legs, etc. She also mentioned she wanted me to be one of her final exam guys. Apparently, at her beauty school, the final exam is to see how beautiful they can make a guy. She described it as a true test of their learned techniques and application skills. I told her I'd consider it. Later, we went out to eat. Yes, I was still dressed up. Now I'm at home waiting for my wife to return from work. She wanted to see me, so I had to keep all this stuff on. I can't believe how difficult it is to type with these nails. Riley explained why the girl who did my nails was smirking when I mentioned removing them tonight. It turns out I'll damage my nails if I try to remove them myself. So Riley advised me to come in Monday morning to have them removed. Looks like I'll be showing up to church on Sunday with bright red long nails. Oh well, it's not like the whole church won't already know what happened tonight. Well, Ava and MIA, I didn't expect this to be so lengthy, but a lot happened today. I hope I didn't bore you with all this, and I hope you have as much fun at your banquet as I've had today, smirk. Let me know if you want to hear about our dinner outing. Until next time. Cameron, or should I say Cami. So, you want to hear about the other night, huh? Alright, if you're up for it, I'll spill the beans. I'll try to be a bit more concise in this letter than the last one. Yeah, right. As I mentioned, after the makeover, I had to sit with Riley and endure the rest of the night's entertainment. Women certainly have a different way of interacting than men, at least I think so. Sometimes, they seemed to forget a man was among them and freely shared their emotions. To be honest, there were moments when I kind of forgot I was a man too. Strange, huh? I endured endless tips on posture and how to cross and uncross my legs seductively from Riley that night. Did she think I was planning to stay this way? Finally, it was over. I thought it was time to change clothes, then it hit me. I had left all my clothes at Riley's school. Looking back, I vaguely remember walking out, feeling like I'd forgotten something, but the scent of my perfume, the sensation of my slip against my hose, and the click of my heels on the hard floor must have temporarily clouded my judgment. At least, that's the only explanation I can come up with. Well, Riley reminded me I had to stay dressed up so my wife could see me anyway. She mentioned a few of them were going out to dinner and wanted me to join. Since Riley was driving, I had little choice. I expressed concern about being recognized or someone realizing I wasn't really a woman, but she brushed it off, saying, "First, there's no way anyone will recognize you, and second, you look more like a woman than I do." When I asked what she meant, she simply stated that the way I looked that night, someone would need a chromosome test to convince them I was actually male. That was the third time I blushed in my life. I suppose the real obstacle to me going out was that I hadn't seen myself yet. I explained this to Riley, and she ushered me into the ladies' room at church, positioning me in front of the full-length mirror, saying, "Don't you trust me? Then trust your own eyes." Ever heard the phrase, "I can't believe my own eyes"? Well, that's exactly how I felt. I've been looking in the mirror for about 25 years now, and I can usually anticipate what I'll see. What I didn't expect was to see a beautiful woman staring back at me. As a man and a longtime admirer of women, no offense intended, sure, I've seen better. But my goodness, I've also seen much worse. First off, Ava, you may recall seeing me in shorts. Trust me on this one, with the hair removed, these are legs that could turn heads on the street. They're the kind of legs I'd definitely take a second look at. The rest of the body appeared undeniably feminine. I examined how the dress embraced my curves and found nothing masculine about it. The Wonder Bra certainly helped a lot, of course. I started to wonder if I really wanted my wife to see me like this. Don't get me wrong, my wife is beautiful. But that night, I could identify several areas where, believe it or not, I looked prettier than her. Just then, Riley began discussing her blood sugar and insisted we leave. The journey to the restaurant was uneventful. However, stepping out of the car in a miniskirt should come with some sort of training or certification. Supported by their encouragement, I entered the restaurant. I felt like I might hyperventilate on the way in. Riley simply said, "Relax, Cammy. The only thing you need to worry about tonight is single guys." The hostess escorted us to our table, "Right this way, ladies," with me seated on the outside because Riley wanted to showcase my legs. The waiter welcomed us with a "Good evening, ladies," and seemed puzzled by a few snickers. He took our orders, I must have sounded panicked with my high-pitched voice, and departed. I let out a huge sigh of relief, and Riley chimed in with an "I told you so," adding that he probably found me cute. After finishing our meal, Riley mentioned she wanted to visit the ladies' room. I began to say she didn't need my permission, but she insisted I come along to freshen my makeup so I would look soft and pretty for my wife. By then, I had little fear of being discovered, so I accompanied her, entering the inner sanctum of womanhood, the ladies' room. Let me tell you, you ladies have it easy when it comes to restrooms. Most men's rooms are dark, smelly, and usually messy with urine all over the seats. Lovely imagery, right? Not the ladies' room. It was well lit, nicely painted, even had a couch, and was far more pleasant. Riley touched up my makeup and hair, a 5-minute process, and announced it was time to meet my wife. The other girls suggested going dancing, but I was far too much of a coward for that. Besides, I now believed I could easily pass as a woman and feared getting into trouble if a guy who asked me to dance discovered my little secret. It seemed best to avoid it, I thought. Riley left me at home and mentioned I could retrieve my clothes on Monday when I had my nails removed. I still couldn't believe I had to wait until Monday. Oh well, I'll just keep my hands in my pockets for the next 36 hours or so. About 15 minutes later, my wife arrived home. She kind of gasped when she saw me for the first time, as if she thought she was in the wrong house or something. After her initial surprise, a smile spread across her face. She didn't say a word, just circled around me a few times, scrutinizing me. "My goodness, they didn't need to remove anything, did they?" she exclaimed. She expressed jealousy over my body and face, insisting that I looked truly beautiful. I tried to downplay it, saying it was just clothes and makeup, but she wasn't convinced. According to her, beneath the exterior enhancements, I still radiated the essence of womanhood, or something along those lines. She expressed pride in my willingness to go through with it and promised to make it up to me. I mentioned how the ladies had enjoyed the experience, and truth be told, so had I in a way. Fooling all those people was quite a unique feeling. I don't think there was a single person at the restaurant who didn't see me as exactly what I appeared to be, a beautiful woman. As a conclusion to the evening, I learned about a woman's bedtime routine. Cleaning my contacts, or rather, struggling to get them out, with nails proved to be quite challenging. Removing the makeup wasn't as straightforward as I thought, and I couldn't simply toss my clothes in a corner, I had to carefully hang up my dress. Taking off my bra, farewell, cleavage, and enduring the inevitable scratching for 5 minutes, "How do you tolerate it?" followed. Then gently removing my hose, and finally, I was done. Quite a departure from my usual routine of just brushing my teeth and hopping into bed. Let me tell you, ladies, I don't understand why you go through all that trouble with cosmetics, tight clothes, and uncomfortable shoes. Well, maybe they're not that bad all for what? For a man to glance at you. Believe me, they hardly notice all the effort you put into looking your best for them. That night, I only experienced a small fraction of what it means to be a woman. I can assure you one thing, I will never again rush my wife in the bathroom when she's doing her hair and makeup, now that I understand what it entails. Honestly, I believe every guy should undergo something like this to truly appreciate what women do to impress them. Now, it's Friday night, 1 week after Operation Cami. I still have reminders of that night. My eyebrows are noticeably thinner. They were never particularly bushy, but now they definitely have a more feminine appearance. My legs itch like crazy. I feel like I'm rubbing them together as often as a cricket chirps. My wife simply suggests that if I want to stop the itching, I should shave them. She assures me the itching will cease. When I ask about the next time, she just smirks and tells me to keep shaving them. I think she enjoys the feel of them. Since no one knew I was a man in the makeup chair, no one took any pictures. I believe I saw flashes going off when Riley revealed my true identity, so I'll see if anyone managed to capture any images. Perhaps I should consider going to glamour shots. What do you think? I seem to have broken my promise to keep this short. Apologies. Could you please print a copy of this for Ava? I'm certain she'll find it amusing too.